Welcome to another episode of How Long Will That Hair Color Last? This is Putting the B in BPD with me, your host, B. So today's topic is actually quite triggering for people who may experience this trait, so we will be discussing self-harm. So if you are a person that engages in self-harm, please make sure that you are in the correct headspace before watching this video, just so that it doesn't bring up any unnecessary emotions or cause you to relapse. Cool? Awesome. So again, disclaimer before any one of my videos, all of the information I talk about is my own opinion or the research I have done into BPD. It is also the things that I have experienced while having to manage my own BPD. The reason I am talking about these things is just to start the conversation into mental health, make sure that people start talking about it, end the stigma, and just get the information out there. Let's just jump on in. So, self-harm, also known in psychology as non-suicidal self-injury. This is different from the other types of self-harm that we've spoken about, putting yourself in harm's way or isolating yourself or eating disorders, which also injure the body. This is specifically something that you do to yourself to injure yourself. So it could be anything from cutting, biting, scratching, burning, any kind of injury that you inflict on yourself. However, that does not cause suicide. This is a very difficult topic to discuss, especially with people out there who do not suffer from mental illness or do not engage in self-injury, because it is such a foreign concept to a lot of people that you would want to injure yourself, that you would want to cause yourself any kind of harm. However, it is a very important topic to discuss because it has been found in about 65 to 80% of all people diagnosed with borderline personality will engage in this trait at some point in their lives. It's also important to note that about 8% of the general population who do not suffer from mental illness also engages in non-suicidal self-injury. There are numerous reasons why people with BPD would choose to engage in non-suicidal self-injury. However, the biggest cause of this trait is connected to your emotional regulation. So because people are so unable to regulate their emotions, they have all of this turmoil, they have all of this pain, the only way for them to deal with it would be to self-harm. It is also connected to one of the other traits, dissociation or depersonalization. So when a person with BPD gets into a dissociative state, they can also then engage in self-injury. The last trait that it can be connected to is that of the chronic feelings of emptiness. Personally, for me, this is a big one to do with self-injury, as this is a trait that I struggle with a lot and have had to deal with all throughout my life. So the reason someone might feel the need to injure themselves is simply because they don't feel anything else, and that is a way for them to feel something. So I can speak from personal experience that when you are feeling numb, you are feeling empty, you will do anything to just feel something. So a person would rather engage in negative emotion, so anger, pain, frustration, self-injury, instead of feeling nothing. Personally, I believe that the need to self-injure or self-mutilate is actually connected to a much bigger problem that we are facing currently in our society. We are constantly taught and we are constantly trained how to deal with our physical injuries. We are shown in media from a young age, or even in our families, if you have a broken arm, if you have a broken leg, people will show you affection. People will care about you. People you don't even know, people in your class, will come and draw on your cast. They will bring you flowers in the hospital. They will come and care about you. They will tell you to take off days of work. They will tell you to take off days at school to take care of yourself, to look after your physical injury. However, there is still a massive stigma attached to mental injury or emotional injury. If you struggle from mood disorders or anxiety or personality disorders, and you feel that you are having a bad mental health day, it is very difficult to call up your work or call up your school and tell them, I don't feel mentally prepared to take on today. This will reflect negatively on your performance, on the way people view you at work, and that is bad. That is so sad even, to think that we put so much more emphasis on physical injury than we do emotional or mental injuries. So in that sense, you want that care. You want people to care about you, to think about you, to tell you, oh, I hope you get better. So to try and show your emotional anguish, people then self-injure, to bring that emotional pain and hurt into a physical injury that people will then care about. I'm not saying this is healthy. I am saying this is a condition that we've been taught from a very young age, and which is why videos like these, information like this is so important, so that we break away from that stigma, so that we can explain to people how emotional injury and emotional exhaustion and mental exhaustion and injuries are just as important as physical injuries. The last point I want to touch on is people looking at self-injury, self-harm as a person looking for attention. Now, I have two views on that kind of statement. Firstly, people who engage in self-harm, self-mutilation, very often do it in private. They do it in places that you would never see, that you would not notice it. And there are probably a lot of people in your life who have in the past or maybe currently engaged in self-mutilation without you even knowing. It is definitely not always for the other person's benefit. It is very often a very personal thing, and a lot of people who engage in self-mutilation actually feel shame, they feel guilt, and they feel scared for people to find out that they engage in self-harm. To me, this is a very important and personal topic because I, as I mentioned, have struggled with self-harm throughout my life. And even now, when people see some of my self-harm scars, it causes me intense shame, it causes me guilt, it causes me anxiety, because you don't know how the people will react when they see those kinds of scars and injuries. So it is definitely not always a case that people do it for the outside perspective or attention. Which brings me to my second point. Yes, sometimes people do it for attention. Why do you think attention or someone needing attention is that bad? Do you have a Facebook? Do you have an Instagram? Do you put up a profile picture and hope that you get some likes? Or even maybe you don't even consciously do it, but when you get a notification that someone has liked your profile picture or has liked your point of view on your status or has retweeted something of yours, do you not feel happy? Do you not then feel validated, accepted, rewarded for that piece of information that you have put out there? We are humans. We are bonding creatures. We live in communities. We live in societies. We need validation. We need confirmation. We need attention. It is simply who we are. And for some people, getting that attention is very difficult. They have at some point gotten the information that they can't go through the normal avenues of reaching people, of connecting with people. So then I will ask you, in that person's environment, what has caused them this idea that the only way they are going to get your attention or care is by injuring themselves? Think about it. It is not an easy thing to do, to cut yourself. Your body likes self-preservation. Injuring yourself, or even the idea of cutting through your own skin, is a difficult decision to make. There are a lot of factors that go into you wanting to injure yourself. And if that person is doing it to get your attention, then there is something that has failed them. There is a community There is an environment that they are in that has failed them because they are reaching out in the only way they know how, and that includes injuring themselves. That's just some information to think about when you find out, or if you find out, that someone you love uses self-mutilation, non-suicidal self-injury as a form of expression. It is simply an unhealthy coping mechanism. There are so many better coping mechanisms out there. However, you need to know that what you are doing is bad for you to be able to find something better. Life is difficult and we all deal with it in very, very different ways. This is simply one of the ways people choose to cope with their lives. It is obviously not a very healthy coping mechanism, and there are so many other healthier coping mechanisms out there for you to engage in. All you need to do is reach out to professionals, even Googling it, even looking up DBT management techniques. So that's where I'm going to leave you today. I hope you've learned something new. I hope you are starting to maybe understand the people in your lives better who might be suffering from borderline personality disorder, or maybe yourself. You see yourself in these traits and you are starting to feel a little bit more accepted, a little bit more seen, and just knowing that you are not alone out there. Cool. If you're new here, hey, please press the subscribe button. It really helps me get the word out there, get the information out there. Follow me on the socials. And if you are coming back, hey, what's up? It's so good to see you. Press the like button to let me know that you are enjoying these videos. And that's it for me. I will see you all next time.